Welcome to the Weird and the Weary. I'm Jason. With me is Kevin.
Hello.
I got Lee.
What's going on?
And today we're going to talk about, some things that people do in the name of science, yet they don't use animals. That's kind of them. And, they do have a kind of control in their hypothesis, so to speak. We're talking about children and the experiments that have been placed upon them in the name of science, but mostly really in the name of cruelty, it seems. George Schuyler, for one, an African-American author, journalist, and social commentator who supported conservatism, denounced the Harlem Renaissance, and wrote a scathing editorial on Martin Luther King after he received the Nobel Peace Prize. And this was in a paper he worked for called the Pittsburgh Courier. He opposed civil rights, and he believed in forcing one to do the right thing. He was against affirmative action. All around real nice guy. And I'm sure a real good family man.
Yeah, it sounds like a real class act to me.
Sure, probably gets home and closes the door and just slaps the shit out of everyone when they just look at him.
Yeah, you mean high fives, right?
Yeah, I taught my dog how to do that.
Oh.
And she gives me little high fives.
Oh, nice.
It's cute.
Not with its face, hopefully.
No, I don't use her face. She uses her little paw.
Oh, that's probably where you guys differ.
A little heady.
Little Hetty Lamar, my little chug.
Well, he wasn't an abusive guy. He was just he was more verbally abusive. He didn't really care whose feelings he hurt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, look at this 4-year-old's drawing. I'm going to shit on this.
Oh, man. I'm going to wipe my fucking ass with it and put it in your mouth. It's horrible. Horrible thing. But, no, yeah, he was an interesting cat, and he was born in Providence, and the dude, he wrote this book called Black No More, and basically it's about this process where you can turn black people into white people.
Okay.
So there's no way of telling. Once you go through the process, there's no way. Your voice changes, all that shit.
Okay.
So
now Mengele tried this too. He just tried like eye color and stuff, and tried to turn Jews into not Jews.
Eugenics.
Okay.
Yeah, they were all about that shit. It's fucking crazy. But yeah. So this dude in the book, yeah. So going back to the book, he. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, the way you can tell if someone was actually changed from a black person to a white person is if someone got pregnant.
Okay.
And one of them was black.
Yeah.
Then
the kid
comes out black.
Oh my God.
So
you wouldn't know.
So it'd be like, yeah, the jig is up. So this was written in 1931. So he was all about socialism in the beginning, worked for the NAACP, and then wound up becoming a right-wing conservative. So with his conservatism, he was like championed by H.L. Mencken, who had a interesting quote. I just have to share this quote because when I saw it, I was like, that's pretty damn interesting. And this is from the Foundation for Economic Education. They had the top 12 quotes from this man. Number 12, as democracy is perfected, the office of the president represents more and more closely the inner soul of the people. We move toward a lofty ideal. On some great and glorious day, the plain folks of the land will reach their heart's desire at last, and the White House will be adorned by a downright moron. Pretty prophetic.
Yeah, well, at the time, there was, a big power shift, politically, and, a lot of black voices were being heard for once. Voting rights for blacks was just as established recently.
60 years, yeah.
Yeah, so, voices were being heard, and of course opinions would differ from the norm, in this case. So, being a conservative black man in this era,
this shit's crazy.
Yeah, it just it's kind of parallels today. How there's actual African Americans out there that'll support, this president that we have. And
Ben Carson?
Yeah, Ben Carson, another puddin' pop, he just reminds me too much of Bill Cosby for some reason. I don't know.
Oh, I knew you were going to make that. I knew you were going to do that. But oh yeah, and
you can take it out if you want.
No, it's fine. But I need to correct you. It's my mistake. Is that even though he did write that little thing about Martin Luther King and the Nobel Peace Prize, the Courier never printed it. They were like, no, we're not printing that shit. No. There's no fucking way.
But he married a white woman, though.
Right, a Texan Harris. Her name was Josephine, a lovely Josephine Lewis Cogdell. He married her in 1928. She was a white Texan Harris whose family was involved in ranching, banking, and at one point owned slaves. Now, she believed in miscegenation, which was the whole interbreeding of people that are classified as being different due to race, or supposed race. So she was all about that. So she created a little experiment, and her name was Phillipa Schuyler. She was born August 2nd, 1931. So her mom, who was inspired by a psychologist named John B. Watson, he was a behavioral psychologist, and he believed that a child should never be hugged or kissed, and you should speak to them about sex at the earliest age as possible.
Yeah, that doesn't sound weird.
No, it does not. No hugging and kissing. I don't want you to associate hugging and kissing with what I'm about to tell you, so I'll tell you that, and then later on you can decide.
You can
what
decide
is right.
who you want to hug and kiss.
Well, let me tell you all this, okay? I'm kind of in partial agreement. I mean, not like to never hug or kiss, but birthday cake is ruined from children because, when they blow out the candles, they spit all over the top of the cake, and then everybody finds it proper to serve that. Like, no, it's not. It's not. Give the kid another cake and make one for everyone else. Be civil about it. We don't want your baby germs.
Just give them a slice of the cake, put the candles in that, call it a day.
Sure, or if you want ceremony, just a little cupcake.
Yeah.
Same frosting. Be reasonable, people.
You know what? This is the perfect time to plug our new invention, the cake dam. You had the dental dam. You wanted to avoid herpes and shit. Now you want to avoid spray from kids when they blow out the candles in their birthday cake.
Oh,
yeah,
I don't think sick of getting kid spray in my mouth.
Yeah. Oh.
Wow. Throw that back. Beep.
Right, you have a niece, right?
I do.
So yeah, you understand kids spray in the mouth. I mean, you.
Why are you so sick right now? I was at a birthday party a couple days ago. I think this kid got some fucking AIDS in his mouth or something. Blew over that candle. Oh my god!
Hey, the sickness I've gotten from my school age child, man. Like I thought I was gonna die. Just whatever.
Did it have you coughing like? Wah!
Yeah, it was like almost like The Stand. I thought I was gonna have to drive my car through a gas station.
That motherfucker looked like Captain Trips with that jacket.
Yeah. But yeah, so that I can understand that part. But yeah, definitely, if you hug and kiss your kid, you're gonna get sick. Also,
yeah.
So maybe that's what they're saying.
Well, with their psychology, man, it's almost like fucking quack science. It's crazy. It's junk science. So the mother was influenced by that.
Mm-hmm.
So part of this, she believed that she needed to interbreed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the reason why, this was her reason.
Tell me about it.
Quote, "The white race, the Anglo-Saxon especially, is spiritually depleted, and America must mate with the Negro to save herself." End quote.
And then in 1994, Madonna said pretty much the same thing.
Like a prayer.
That, having a mixed child is the way to go.
Open 24/7.
Now, to save the human race, perhaps, sure, whatever. Let's get it on. Let's get it on with everyone.
What kind of music would you play?
Oh, fuck. Where would I start? To just, get home, throw on a little, Perry Como.
I thought you were going to say
Alf
Kenny G.
Perry Como, I love Alf. So...
Oh,
no,
shit.
Kenny G. No. Maybe really, definitely Al Green, little Barry White.
Little Marvin Gaye.
I only mate to Darude.
Oh yeah, because
Sandstorm.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah,
that gets the rhythm.
Fuck the rude.
Okay.
Wait, were you about to talk about the foam party at that one place?
No, I'd never have gone to a fucking foam party. Only foam party I know about is about at this other place.
What, in your mudroom when your washing machine overflows? I don't know. Is that what the foam party is?
That happened once here, man. That shit was fucked up. I was like, man, I ain't got $300 for this shit.
Oh, foam party, though. You could have just invited everyone for the foam party.
Yeah, and then who's going to help me with the fucking carpet?
I don't know. It's a party. People leave. You have to deal with the rest.
Do you know what gets that out of a carpet? Lemons.
Lemons?
Yeah.
Lemons gets foam out?
Yeah. Follow up your foam party with a lemon party.
This is really the last episode, guys. Ladies, whatever you want to call yourselves. Thank you.
The weirdos.
Good night. This is the shortest episode ever, and you're probably like, thank God.
I hate these guys. These guys are just...
No, fuck that. We're going to keep going. We like to diversify. We like challenges.
So to keep the race alive, we need to, mingle around with all races, or just African American, just black, Negroes.
Yeah, she seems to be excluding everyone else. It's like, she didn't say anything about the Asians or the Indians or
well, they were building
the British. She didn't say anything about the British. She's like they have bad teeth.
She did say that?
No, I'm just saying.
Because
the way she is, she's like especially the Anglo-Saxon.
Right, and she never even met Hugh Grant, so...
Spiritually depleted.
The white race, so maybe she's including the Asians
British.
and everyone in there under the white race, especially Anglo-Saxons. I take that back. But she says in the U.S., they believe that race relations should be solved that way. So they experimented with their child.
Wow.
And part of that was... a raw meat diet, a raw food diet.
Okay.
And that included meat. It wasn't vegetarian.
Okay, so raw meat.
So,
Yeah.
like, just basically like a stew uncooked. Just, like, chop up a bunch of vegetables and some meat. And
Except it was probably, like, sectioned off with, like, little fucking markers and different variables of shit on there.
right, well, there was probably a log, like, today I gave her half of a prime rib and three joints of marrow knuckle. I don't know what they ate back, whatever they prepared back then.
No, it wasn't like that, but it was more like talking about the whippings, beatings, and slappings she would give her child.
Oh, well,
Yes, some rigorous discipline, some like
Right.
fucking almost waterboarding, pro-waterboarding.
Where was George Schuyler during this, though? Like
He was all writing and being angry about black people.
and
And how black people should be more in line with whatever other people want them to be. He's just, I don't know, just as deluded as any other person who believes that other people of other races are inferior or what have you.
like the guy in the Boondocks, the guy with the weird eye,
Uncle Ruckus.
Uncle
Ruckus.
Ruckus. Yeah,
No relation.
Yeah, he definitely did not like him hit the black guys. Like Uncle Ruckus.
No, he was
This
a
was Uncle Ruckus was George Schuyler. Uncle Ruckus was George Schuyler for
probably
that show,
and a whole bunch of other people
He
mixed
just
in.
right. Like Huey wouldn't have let him like feed him raw meat. It would probably kill them. So
Uncle Ruckus ain't eating that.
right. Uncle Ruckus wasn't really that bad of a guy. He just he would have
He was
voted.
misguided.
He would have voted for Trump.
He was misguided and he hated himself because people treated him poorly.
Right. And that eye. Nobody likes that eye. Stare at that
Wandering
little
eye.
eye.
Yeah, a little wonky eye.
But this girl, Phillipa, man, she's amazing. 4 years old, 500-word vocabulary, reading and writing. By 5 years old, her IQ was measured at 180. 180.
Okay, so this diet, like, I'm assuming they're also doing, like, because this is like a primal diet, but are they doing, like, exercise, stuff like that? They do, like, making her run in the yard? I don't know. I mean, it sounds like a
The only
prison camp
exercise
thing.
that she had was musical because she was a pianist.
Oh, okay.
And so she was a very, very talented pianist.
Okay.
And she played at, Jesus, stop with the sucking the fucking teeth. Jesus Christ.
Who? Is that me?
No, me, not
Oh,
you.
okay.
No, I wouldn't say that to you guys. I'm sorry. No, even joking. Well, joking, you know I'm joking, but I'm not joking. I'm not serious. I'm talking to myself.
I gotta stop saying I keep saying
We'll work on that. That's what I'm saying. Like, we need to, this will be edited out, but we need to sit down sometimes and listen to an episode, and we point out different things. Like we can, self-edit ourselves or give pointers, because it's hard to get out of those mannerisms.
Right.
Especially the we all say a lot. And I'm trying to switch it up so to be akin to instead of, like.
Such
right.
as.
So where was I? So she was an accomplished pianist.
Yep.
And the thing about it is that her mother was fucking so stuck on perfection that the musical teachers, she would go through musical teachers. There was this one lady, she was Antonia Brico. She resigned because she looked at the concert schedule. She's like, this is crazy. We can't do this. Mm-hmm. This is too strenuous for a child. Let her be a child.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But, and unfortunately, her talent is probably mostly unrecognized because of the era.
It was unrecognized mostly, especially after playing in front of limited audiences, white audiences. It was limited playings. She was incredible pieces, but she was more accepted by the African American community because of who she was,
right?
And also her dad. But that started to go downhill considerably. That any black journalist that would want to try to interview him or anyone who would work with him, it was an unspoken thing not to work with him in the African American community. So he was going down. And then Phillipa, by the time she was 15, she had her compositions performed in Chicago, San Francisco, Detroit orchestras, and the New York Philharmonic.
Wow.
So by this time, she's realizing that, her race and everything is keeping her skills from being recognized.
Right.
Just that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's fucked up.
Jeez.
Well, it was an awful time, and somehow we're being plummeted back into it again now in this present time. So many people were unrecognized, so many people were killed senselessly, and it was just a horrible dark stain on the history.
Yeah. One of fucking many damn stains, many different colors, more than just red and that. But yeah, she went and did her thing, and then by 1950 she started going to Central and South America, and then she decided to have a little fun with her ambiguous, appearance as to what she was.
Well, because she was insecure about herself before, right? Because of the cruel upbringing.
Right.
Her mother didn't believe that she was a natural talent. She probably was a virtuoso. It had nothing to do with being fed fucking like a dog. It was.
You don't think the raw meat gave her secret piano powers?
Yeah, if it did, then she might be onto something, but. She only did this once, right?
What's this?
The mother. She only had one kid, right?
Yeah, only one child.
So there's no control group. So
all right,
thank God, there's no control group.
No, this woman was hell bent on perfection, because what happened is that as she got older, she started to find out that basically her mother considered her as an experiment.
Jeez, more
than her child. So she basically was just like, fuck this shit, I'm getting a little ahead of myself because it's right before here, so let me roll back. So right before that, she decided to change her visa and switch it so it said white. So that was how she was able to go to South Africa during apartheid.
Okay.
And she started to become a feminist. She was a very involved woman, and then she became a journalist like her dad.
Right. Well, it makes sense. She's traveling the world. She's seeing everything.
Right.
And she's brilliant.
Yeah.
She's totally brilliant. But what she did was that, she applied for that, and then she decided to come up with this other persona, and it was Phillipa Schuyler, and she listed herself as Iberian American, and so she would go and do John Birch lecture circuits, which her father was part of, as a conservative society. Pretty freaking nutty.
Wait, was it at the same time that he was still doing stuff?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was doing stuff, but again, as she began to rise up, he was starting to like fall in favor.
Okay.
You know, and a lot of people, they just wouldn't deal with him.
All right, wait. I got one more dumb question, maybe.
Yeah.
So, did he know that she was going under this like pseudonym?
No.
Oh.
No, she. It wasn't something that she was disclosing, because if she did, most likely he would have said something.
Gotcha.
Or it would have gotten out, and then, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it
you
makes
don't know
sense.
what kind of fallout would have occurred.
Right.
So, but she would travel, and then again, she would travel to, like, say, perform as a white person in Italy and France, and then go into Germany and become a black person again.
Right, because this is at the height of the World War II, and this is at the height of World War II.
No, this is after World War II.
What year was this?
This was in 1959.
I apologize.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Sorry, she started her music career in the 40s, right? So during...
No, in the 30s. She was born in 31, and by the time she was 4, she was like doing all this crazy stuff.
Oh, wow.
5.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, she was making, and she made her first broadcast public appearance as a pianist at age 4.
Wow, that's
Jeez.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing what raw meat can do to you.
Or a crazy Texan Harris mother.
Right, or, well, yeah, that basically just treated her like a slave.
Or someone that's totally been turned into a get out sort of situation. Holy shit. You went from socialist to fucking conservative.
Yikes.
But damn.
That's what raw meat will do to you.
I think he was tapping into it, too.
Oh, man. I'll never eat tartar again. I like it.
No tartar sauce.
Aw.
So later in
Steve
life...
Hillenburg. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. But later in life, she became a journalist. She was wrote for stuff like the ultra-conservative paper called the Manchester Union Leader. And she was switched over to Catholicism, even though she was like into the occult and tarot shit. Tarot cards. And then one time she was invited by the South Vietnam ambassador to perform for wounded troops in Vietnam, 1966. So she went over, performed for them, and she became enthralled with the people.
Right.
And all the injustices and the political stuff. She was very upset with the stuff she had been seeing. So she wrote a book. She wrote another book. It would be her second and last book. And it was called Daltron. That's what it was called.
Deltron?
Dontron.
Oh, sorry.
I know you said Deltron. Deltron
Maybe
3030.
Like, that's where Deltron got it from? Because that's pretty cool. You know,
He's that funky Homo sapien, right?
That'd be some dope shit. But yeah, Deltron, man. Does he have anything new out?
God, I don't even know.
Deltron 3030. But yeah, so she returned to Vietnam spring 67, but she had gone to write this book called Daltron, and the heroine, Jeanette, is basically modeled after Phillipa.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she modeled it after herself, a child of a white and a black parent. And there's this excerpt from it. I found this is a pretty interesting excerpt. Her skin was light enough for her to be accepted as second-class white in Rhodesia, Kenya, or South Africa, and its color made no difference in Europe. But to Americans, it was the most important of all characteristics. It categorized one as a person to be insulted, to be treated as a pariah, to be deprived of respect in all deeper human relationships. The same white Americans who were supposed to be bringing democracy to Vietnam were incapable of practicing it themselves in any context that went deeper than the superficial. So, you know, she saw that, she experienced it, she had all these talents, she had all these abilities, but they were looked down upon.
And then, you know, like, it goes a long way from chapter 1, where it was the parents hate fucking each other, you know, to conceive the child. Because that's really how I imagine her conception. It was just complete hate fucking.
Yeah, it sounds like her parents both kind of hated themselves at that point.
Right. So there's some BDSM going on.
Oh, yeah, there's some weird... Yeah, treat me like shit.
Right, treat me like a slave, you know? Like,
you just blew my head up with some knowledge. Boom. Oh!
Yeah, Schuyler was into the...
BDSM bitches.
Right.
George got a gag in his mouth, taking it in the ass.
Call me Jim Crow.
Oh, that's fucked up. We're going to have to leave it in.
But, I mean, she she became an activist. She didn't live a grand life. Her mother being an heiress and all. She left it all behind, and she did a more noble thing. Even though she broke her brainwashing because she started eating cooked food. Bingo.
Do we have that confirmed? She broke the raw diet at some point, right?
That isn't discussed. That's the thing, because I think that it's probably trivial at that point. It's like, why even bother?
All right, I'm just going to work under the assumption that she was like, that's all I like to eat now.
All they eat carrots and twigs. Because they had moved into an apartment in Harlem, because she was actually homeschooled too. She had like fucking private tutors. She's very, very closed off life. No wonder she had an IQ of that, because she had nothing else to focus on other than her training and diet.
Right.
But she ripped out the stove and everything out the kitchen, because they're like, hey, we don't need this.
Wow.
So I would think George was eating some raw food, not unless he was cheating on the side, eating some donuts and shit.
Motherfucker was. Of course he was.
He was eating donuts and fucking hot links.
Dude, he's going down and
some fucking fish. He ain't eating sushi. This motherfucker ain't eating sushi.
He ain't sushi, but he's probably eating some.
Come on, who the fuck eats raw chicken?
I don't want to sound like racist, but probably some like hog's feet. That's what I can't eat.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, you don't eat that fucking raw, and I'm like, oh, never mind. He's eating the cooked food. He's cheating.
He's cheating.
Mm-hmm. He's a cheater.
He's cheating against the raws.
Right. Because that's what if I'm gonna be a fucking monster, I'm gonna choose hog feet.
Yeah.
What would they call it? Like vegans? What do vegans call what do vegans call? What do vegans call meat eaters?
I don't know. What do they call them?
I don't know. I'm wondering.
Oh, I don't know.
I thought this was a setup for a joke.
I had
I'm so let down.
Okay, speaking of pork, all right, I had a roommate, and I hope you're listening. You know who you are when I talk about this, but anytime you talked about eating pork, you'd be like, so you like pork? Do you know that pork flesh is the closest to human flesh? And anytime you eat pork, you're tasting what human flesh would taste like. How do you feel about that? Does that feel good?
Is that just every single time?
Every single time. Every single time pork was mentioned in the vicinity. So, as a good roommate, I didn't cook meat when he was around.
Right.
And I ate vegetarian. I actually kind of ate partially vegetarian. And it was a pretty good, healthy lifestyle for a little bit. But yeah, anytime pork was mentioned, it was like, yeah, that's the closest to human flesh. How do you like eating human flesh?
Well, I guess it's pretty tasty because bacon is good.
I love bacon.
So you'd be like, in the movie Alive, they ate that shit raw, right? They ate the booty raw, so you can make some good bacon.
Well, it was sashimi, booty sashimi.
Sashimi.
So Phillipa, unfortunately, you mentioned she met some soldiers, and that seemed to lead to her tragic passing.
Well, it wasn't that really. It was other things. There was basically the FBI and stuff, I believe. They were just Army intelligence officers were like, yeah, what are you doing? Because of her father and stuff. His former leanings, and then his current leanings were questionable.
Punish the children for the crimes of the parents.
Pretty much. But, sorry.
Oh, well, no, I'm sorry. I was getting at her death. That's what I was getting at.
Well, yeah. Well, she was getting a ride back to Da Nang, I believe it was called.
Oh, Da Nang?
Da Nang. She was on her way to Da Nang, and she was going to play a recital in the New York's town hall, and she was riding with 16 other people. I don't know how big the helicopter was, but it crashed 10 miles outside of Da Nang, and 3 of the 16 people on board died. An unnamed American soldier, a young Vietnamese orphan, and Phillipa. And she was 35 years old.
That's tragic. I mean, that's a...
It is, because she was a wonderful fucking person. Like, based off of the things that she had accomplished, and even though she faced all this adversity, she was confused too, because it's easy to see how she was confused. And that followed her in life, and she did what she had to do, and She adopted all these different identities because she was forced to. She felt forced to because of the life that she lived and the life that was presented to her.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, parents like that, I would also form my own identity to get away from who they tried to make me.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But you know what's worse is when a parent doesn't know when a child's being experimented on.
Mm.
And that happened once. It happened to a group of about 20 kids. And this happened in the 50s. This happened... it's called the Robbers Cave Experiment. It was put on by a famous psychology doctor named Muzifer Sherif. And, he set up 2 camps. And each camp had about 11 kids. So it was about 22 kids.
Okay.
And basically, he told the parents it was a summer camp.
Mm-hmm.
Set up the kids on each side. And basically told them, you gotta make a camp. You gotta set up a camp. There's nothing here for you other than some provisions, and the rest you gotta forage yourself. And after a while, he let them go by themselves, and they kind of just over the summer. Because this doctor just read The Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, that's exactly what this sounds like.
Pardon me. He just read The Lord of the Flies, and yes, it is exactly the same scenario as Lord of the Flies.
Oh, perfect.
He wanted to see if this would actually happen. He wanted to see if, kids would adapt and construct means to survive, even in a weird tribal way. Mm-hmm. Like in Lord of the Flies, where they kind of make like a kangaroo court, and dictate judgment over each other. And,
right.
That happened. That exactly happened.
Okay.
Each side, they kind of banded together, and they became the Rattlers. And they became the Eagles. So the Eagles and the Rattlers were the opposing groups of children.
Did the kids come up with their own teams?
They did.
Nice.
They did.
Tough.
And they drew pennants. They drew flags. They drew, they had a main flag.
Yeah, well, you need your war banner at this point.
Of course, the thing was, they weren't aware of each other's existences. So that was the other part of this experiment. You had 2 groups. Didn't know they were within a vicinity. They were in a really close vicinity. Mm-hmm. I think within like half a mile from each other.
Okay.
They kept it separate, and they like made a bond within each other's groups. And as they this is all in the first phase.
Okay.
So this is phase 1. Mm-hmm. And this is all planned out by Dr. Sherif.
It's not just some random, here, let's try this.
Right.
Yeah, the dude went to Harvard.
Right.
PhD. So, yeah.
Right, and he's renowned, people knew who he was. He just really liked this book, apparently.
Yeah.
That's what I think. So after they had, made their names, the Eagles and the Rattlers, they stenciled shirts, flags, other little pennants, and at this point, Sharif created a competition stage where he made friction between the groups over the next 4 to 6 days. So, and this phase was intended to bring the 2 groups into competition with one another.
Right, that makes sense.
So, you already got them all riled up. The Rattlers are already pretty tough. They are. That's a tough name.
Excuse me.
I definitely put my money on an eagle over Rattlers, though.
But you shouldn't right away, because sometimes the eagle may get caught up, or something may mess with the eagle, and the Rattler can get it.
Or the Mexican flag. The fucking eagle has the snake. So
there it is.
So they set up. Competitions that would be like different competitive things like baseball, tug of war, so they introduced the 2 camps together. Mm-hmm. The rally phase was a couple days, to get them organized and get to know one another, set up a hierarchy between the children. So they got individual prizes for winning things. They didn't get like team prizes. So whoever did better at baseball, got a better prize than everyone else.
Ooh.
Yes. So, right there, you're already starting some shit between a bunch of 11-year-olds. I mean, like, oh man, that fucker got, like, I wanted that glove. That's a nice glove. Like, why can't we all get one of those? I mean, this is the 50s. The thinking probably wasn't the same, but there was some, being covetous is universal and as long as mankind, and all beasts are pretty covetous.
Yeah,
my dogs fight over shit.
I'd paint such a sweet rattler all down that glove if I won that.
Oh, hell yeah, man. And then nobody else would have it but me, not him.
No, unless I took it, motherfucker. Hand it over.
Shut up, piggy.
What?
It was a piggy. Oh, boy. Poor guy. But, like, some would get a medal, some would get, like, a pocket knife, because every boy need a pocket knife. And, I mean, that's what my grandpa told me, and he grew up before the 50s. But, yeah, because they're Boy Scouts. These kids were Boy Scouts. They were separated from a 200 group.
And they were in Oklahoma?
Yes, out in Oklahoma. This was, like, part of, in the Robbers Cave State Park in Oklahoma. Yeah, this is part of the Robbers Cave, big thing that Boy Scouts did back then. So, yeah, they took 22 of these kids from that group because the parents had already signed off on them going away with the Boy Scouts.
I have to say, if they in my dramatic reinterpretation, Tony Shalhoub would be my dude to play Dr. Sherif.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
I think he'd be really, really good. He's the only person, because at first I was thinking it was going to be kind of silly, stupid, funny. Who was I thinking of that could be the doctor?
Will Ferrell.
Yes, Will Ferrell.
I mean, this could become a comedy. I could see this being adapted into a comedy.
Sure.
I think it's something that we should actually probably work on together, because we could turn this into a pretty funny fucking movie. Yeah, but let's talk about that later. But yeah, Will Ferrell would actually make a good doctor too. So of course.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Real quick, I was thinking Hugh Jackman. I'm like, Hugh Jackman can play him, and I'm like, yeah, Oklahoma, but no, never mind. Was that Nebraska?
No, it was Oklahoma.
It's Wolverine.
Oh yeah, Logan. NC-17.
That's a black and white one, isn't it? Or I don't know, whatever.
Anyway, Logan Noir.
So of course, like the Rattlers' reaction to this announcement of contests was, they had the most confidence in their own victory, because they're the Rattlers.
Yeah, tough.
I would be all for the Rattlers. I'd hope I was on the Rattler team. If I was on the Eagles, they'd be like, oh man, we're birds. They have fangs. We got talons.
They're probably flapping around though, just looking tough and graceful.
I would hope that's something in the tribe, just get ready for the baseball game and just caw.
I just think of Napoleon Dynamite when he was like doing the thing with his hands with the bird.
Yeah.
He was just like all into it. Oh yeah, fly away, bird.
But I mean, the Rattlers even went so far to like get together and talk about the different contests, and they made some improvements on the ball field together. Kind of cleaned it up, made it a little more playable. But they also took it over. It became their ball field.
The Rattlers took over?
The Rattlers took the ball field. They made a keep off sign.
Ooh.
Keep off! Exclamation. That's why I said it so loud.
Nice.
And it was right there. They put their flag on it. They put it right on the mound, right on the pitcher's mound.
What the fuck you gonna do about it?
The fuck are you gonna do? Come on in here. Come on, get the Rattlers.
This Debo's field, bitch.
Bite your ass. And they made threatening remarks about anybody that touched the flag that wasn't a Rattler.
So, any Eagles.
Namely them.
If you even look at it. Don't even look at it.
I see what's going on. It's like the Sandlot.
Divert the eyes.
Now, there was situations that were put into play, too, like where one group would gain at the expense of the other. One group would like delayed food while the other one had already eaten their food in front of them.
Ooh.
You know, like so they had to watch them eat and got kind of hungry and angry.
Yeah. Wait, did the kids do this themselves, or did...
No, this was another part of the control. So,
This doctor's an asshole.
yeah, Dr. Sherif, Tony Shalhoub. I can see like Tony Shalhoub in the office with the shadow effect. Like, only see his eyes. You know? Now you only eat lunch.
Will Ferrell plays a young 25-year-old.
He's a young rattler. Hey. Oh shit! Is that their noise?
John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell play primordial enemies in the Oklahoma Boys.
I mean, basically, that's what this stirred. You know, it started like a name calling. You know, some taunting. But as a war on, I mean, it took more of a direct route. You know, the Eagles got craftier. They teamed together. They backed off.
Mm-hmm.
Backed off for as long as they could.
Then
they burned the Rattlers' flag.
Ooh.
That's
Nobody got hurt.
Oh man,
That's a direct act of aggression right there. So what do you think happened, guys? What do you think happened?
They caught the Eagles, lit them on fire.
They had to dance off.
This is the 50s, so they had dance. They had a sock hop.
Ooh.
No.
I thought dancing
No,
was
the
illegal in
Rattlers.
this county.
The Rattlers ransacked the Eagles' cabin. They flipped over the beds. They stole their property. They started becoming so aggressive with each other, like they started clashing, and they had to be separated again. Like they had to make they had to draw a line because so they went in and sacked the cabin, just took all their shit, probably ripped up some baseball cards.
I'm taking your shoelaces out of your shoes.
Right? And like, oh man, that's my coonskin cap, you know? Like, fuck you, Davy Crockett. Wipes his ass with it. Swamp Fox, fuck you.
Give you some brown rings on that shit.
Just put your retainer in some soap.
Put my little brown rings for little raccoon eyes on it. Here, take your hat back, piece of shit, Crockett.
I put my leathery Cheerio on your pillow.
Duty Crockett.
Got him.
Did you know what? Do you know what a leathery Cheerio is?
No, this is a learning session for me.
It's just like old man foreskin or something. It's like blossoms around it.
Someone told me today. He's like, you can kiss my leathery Cheerio. I'm like, what the fuck is that? He's like, asshole.
Did you Google it?
No, he said it's the asshole.
Okay, that makes sense.
The little tiny part of the asshole. Little entry.
The little spokes.
Leathery Cheerio.
I saw a mold somebody made to make little chocolates. And he made a silicone mold of his asshole. And they're just perfect little brown rings. Like, you could buy those.
Nice.
You could buy that kit.
Of that guy's asshole or my own?
You can make your own.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you can make your own. You gotta wax your asshole first.
Yeah, I don't care.
Unless you want hair in the mold, like it's authentic.
Ooh, that's real life.
Let's be realistic. Everyone has hair on their asshole, even you ladies.
Hey, fellas, you want to give your girl something she'll never forget? Why don't you give her chocolate?
Give her your... What is it? A floppy Cheerio? What was it again?
Leathery Cheerio.
Leathery Cheerio.
Leathery Cheerio chocolate. With like cherry stuff. Like those cherry...
That sounds worse.
Bite it and the cherry juice comes out.
You popped my cherry.
6 more to go, baby.
I used to like those chocolates when I was a kid. They had the cherries in the middle.
Oh, yeah, they were good. And I ate one like 12 years ago and it made me fucking sick as shit.
Yeah,
man.
it's supposed to make you sick. I think it's like fucking kids only remembering Pennywise and It. Leave that shit back there.
So it took about 2 days for these kids to cool off, okay? So like, they had to separate them for 2 days. They categorized themselves in more favorable terms than the other group still, of course. And there was still some rivalry, even after a cool-off period. Mm-hmm. A little bit of a plan hatching. But, remember, like, the participants, they're all well-adjusted boys. They're Boy Scouts. They weren't, like, street toughs or anything like that. They didn't have any bad upbringing according to their standards at the time,
They're not tunnel snakes.
Right, they weren't tunnel snakes from, the Fallout game.
That's too bad, because tunnel snakes rule!
Tunnel snakes rule! So, yeah, I mean, the kids were, good upbringing. They had no social problems or anything like that, and it basically just showed that it confirmed his theory, that realistic conflict theory that he proposed all along. Without telling the parents. So, I mean, it mimicked a lot of different, wait, let me change that. Like it paralleled a lot of different conflicts that plague others all over, you put different strangers in a group and you put a competition in play, kind of like prison, you think about it. There's going to be people are going to separate into groups right away. We see it on those stupid TV shows. The reality shows like Survivor and like Big Brother, within meeting each other, you're going to see someone and be like, yeah, okay, I want to kind of group with that person after you talk with them,
right.
And you get to know one another after that initial bonding. You kind of see that just happen.
Yeah.
Even though these people are doing it for money and they know about it, these kids are doing this naturally. It's not like something that it's just an instinct that just happens.
Yeah.
That we do as a human.
We get down with that us versus them mentality.
And there's no precedence for these kids with regards to the experience they've gathered so far in life, so they have nothing to work off of.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right, but this study was, of course, it was criticized, for the many issues it had. Like, it was found that two of the boys in the study, they were artificial.
Robots.
And so it was a competition, so it didn't really reflect much of real life, like a real situation where something like that would happen. Like another good example is like, your job. I mean, like you try to outperform someone and sometimes you meet some groups of people within your job that you like to work with or, you're cool with. And, sometimes you bump each other in different ways to help each other out, and that's kind of...
just a bunch of guys bumping each other to help each other out.
Yeah.
Well, if I remember correctly, I think it was Socrates that said there are three types of people that you consider friends. Friends that you meet in school, friends that you meet at work, and then friends that you meet from either school or work that wind up being lifelong friends.
Nice.
So you got those three types.
You guys don't make friends on the bus?
Those fall in the first part. They could fall in the first part.
I just fall
or a
asleep.
mix of the first and second.
Okay.
I sleep on the bus.
I used to do that.
Yeah.
I
had
with
like
headphones
wet
on.
pockets most of the time. I don't know what happened.
You have wet pockets.
I would wake up if I fell asleep on the bus every time. Wallet gone, wet pockets.
So you had fucking homeless people robbing you and then fucking your pockets. They fucked you twice. They fucked your wallet and then they fucked your pockets.
I had a lot of blackout days. I don't know.
Pocket pussy.
But like I was saying, like for artificial, I mean, it was a bunch of middle class boys, in two different groups. It wasn't like gangs who were hardened, ready to fight. It wasn't soldiers or anything like that. So.
I mean, if they left the experiment going, we could have got there.
Oh, definitely, sure. Just those 22 kids were lost.
Yeah.
Plus ethical issues, since the participants didn't know the aim of the study, and they're kind of too young to really understand it at that point. I mean, they were kids, they were 11ish, 12ish. So yeah, I mean, it's a. He got his proof. He got his reasoning proven, but it's just to take some kids from a group of Boy Scouts
I mean, you said it was in the 50s, right?
Yes.
From what I've heard. I mean, I don't think the parents would have cared that much. They're always like, whatever, just be home by dinner.
Right. Is the president involved? We got money? Something,
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know if there's any compensation done on that, but...
Or lawsuits.
Right. Maybe not.
They don't have video cameras back then. We're fine.
Right. But... Yeah, I just can't believe how that could just happen. And... for the name of science. Or George Schuyler, and his wife. That wasn't science. That's some fucking pseudo bullshit science that they just made up to torture a child.
Yeah, it's child abuse.
Yeah, and luckily she broke the bonds, and unfortunately her time on this earth was too short.
Yeah, way too short. She sounded like a goddamn superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. She would have been something amazing, her whole life, I'm sure. And these poor Boy Scouts, I hope, their lives were maybe a little more enriched by this whole activity, because it really did sound kind of fun to me. I don't know, being that age, I mean, it's still a game to everyone, even though they let them go a little far.
Right. At least nobody got murdered.
Nobody got murdered, but there was some fire, some ransacking, and they were on that path. They were almost there.
Right.
No decapitated heads with people judging you because the piggies can taste like humans. Apparently.
Well, apparently.
I haven't tried human yet.
Yeah, who's the first one to find that out?
Who's going to find what out? What'd you say?
Who was the first one to find out humans tasting like piggies?
Jason would be the first one to do that shit. He'll go to like some foreign country and be like, "Yo, man, they had that shit. It was fucking good.
There was
it
that
was
mock
smoked. Had some fucking chipotle on it."
Ooh.
There was that mock website years ago that people thought was real. It was even on the news, called manbeef.com.
Okay.
And it was like a detailed list of how you could get like leg cuts, and thigh cuts, and man ribs and all this stuff, and there was prices and everything, and they didn't show like any gruesome stuff other than like, I think there was a kind of like faded images of like parts, body parts,
just some meat and something.
Right, but yeah, and it got a little attention, manbeef.com.
Would it just be meef?
I think it's just called cannibalism any way you look at it.
Yo, pass me the meef.
But you know what? I think I'm gonna bring manbeef.com back, but it might just be like a football show.
You're going to be attracting the wrong kind of clientele.
Maybe.
No, not wrong. Let me roll that back. You're going to get some interesting clientele.
I'm gonna get some interesting clientele, but it's gonna be all about football. Man beef. We talk about our team losing. I'm gonna get working on that now.
Most of them are going to be high-teased women. High-hair teased women. Man beef.
Ooh.
Hey, I want some of that man beef.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to start working on it now, and it's going to be all this different voices going, "You got beef with me? You got beef with me? Hey, you got beef with me? You got beef with me? You got beef with me? You got beef with me?" See, you just press the button.
So you're making a soundboard, or is it just one button?
Just one button
of
cool. Just me doing it.
You forgot one, though.
I might go live, though. I might just do it live.
You forgot one. You got beef with me?
Oh, see? You can even help me with this, so we can work on this.
You got beef with me.
Did you say you're going to do it live? So you're just going to be sitting there every time someone presses the button, it'll like light up in front of you and be like, "Gotta say it again."
Yes. Yes, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt real bad, but...
From one of the dudes of the triumvirate of the weird and the weary comes Jason with his idea.
You got beef with me? Manbeef.com. It's coming back. It's coming back, guys. But on that note, I'm going to go work on that. I'm going to start working on my "You Beef With Me."
You sure about that, Jerky?
But as always, be good to yourselves. Be good to everyone.
Be good to your kids. I mean...
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Always be
After
good
this
to your
episode.
kids.
Thank you for listening to this episode of I Hope the Kids Are All Right.
Be good to yourselves. Be good to your kids. Be good to everyone and everything.
Including yourselves.
Fuck the Eagles. Yeah, fucking Eagles. Rattlers for life.
Rattlers for life.
Rattlers for life. Burn the Eagle flag.
Cut that motherfucker. Demo's right.
JKL Media.
Jekyll.